Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And I'd like to welcome you to the show this week. We have one thing we wanted to get off our chests. Minds.
This is actually my fault. Last week's audio was not up to the level of quality that we usually have. That's my fault. I had settings messed up, and I just wanted to apologize for that. We've corrected the error and moving forward. So especially
it's a Mac thing. We'll just call it that.
Yeah, it actually was
kind of. Yeah.
And special apology to Chris. So if you come back, you'll sound better next time.
We'll
promise.
We'll make it sound better. We promise. So the thing that's on everybody's mind, as we were talking about last week and weeks before that, and for the rest of at least this year and most of next year, Fallout 4. Sold incredibly well.
Yes.
So was it shipped 12 million? I'd like to see the actual physical sales on it because, again, it's the phrasing of we shipped this many.
Right. There is some relevance to that because those are based on pre-orders and all that kind of stuff. And
Target's been sold out of them.
Mm-hmm.
They sold the Target near me was sold out the same day that it came out, and then they got another shipment, and it was sold out later on that day.
Because everybody,
they're putting up Call of Duty in the Fallout at our Target, at least. I don't know if yours have this not a kiosk, but a display, a cardboard display that is all Fallout, and it has the Pit-Boy thing and it has Call of Duty in it, which is just hilarious to me. Call of Duty's selling all right, but nowhere near as well as
but this has been the best Call of Duty figures. They said they'd sold 550 million in 3 days.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's a good launch. It's a minor spike, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's a minor spike in the downward trend.
Yeah.
Treyarch is the most respected of the groups.
Yeah.
And
they
throw the zombies in there, and that's in there.
They're the ones I can't give as much crap about. I mean, I give that franchise a lot of heat for reasons. Stuff. Another one that, speaking of sales and everything, is Battlefront came out on everything and
everything new, not on last gen.
Yeah.
Which we're finally getting to the point
that
they're just able to move on and move forward and continue.
I'm curious about the sales on this, though. Because the feedback that I've been getting, and it cracks me up. Obviously they are not viewers of the show or listeners of the podcast, because I saw on Facebook multiple people saying, I didn't get to tell you about this already, but people complaining about it. And then I have a few friends of mine who work for GameStop, and one of them was saying she's just tired of people bringing the game back. I don't know if bringing it back and trying to sell it and sell it back the same week. Yeah, which I'm guessing GameStop's policy is they don't do a straight up return. You get
if you had an Xbox One, you could have played it for 10 hours with EA Access for $5.
You could have,
and then you could have been done. Which is I'm actually considering doing for the show as a way to play a lot more of these games, more cost efficient way to do it. One of the other ways that I do if I'm not actually buying the game, you can Redbox if you have a Redbox near you, as well as your local. If you have a local place that does game rentals, Movie Trading Company does really?
Yeah, so seek those out, because since Blockbuster's gone, it's kind of hard to find that. But the prices, I think, about comparable to what Blockbuster used to be for Movie Trading Company. So see if your local shops
less
do that.
than $60, and if it's
less than $60,
I can't justify that for a lot of titles.
I can't justify it for Call of Duty because I don't play the multiplayer.
Yeah.
If I play the multiplayer hardcore, like a lot of people who do Call of Duty then I could justify it, but I can't. Yeah. Battlefront, again, I can't justify. I'll have to play this game because it looks phenomenal. It's supposed to play phenomenally, but
it's really pretty. But I want to, and this is the problem. When I'm going through, for those of you who have watched my Bloodborne streams, when I get into a new area, I just want to stop and look around at stuff.
Yep. You don't get
that is not an option when you're multiplayer and whatever. And like some of the, I feel like the environments are wasted because I've seen some of the gameplay, and like I'll sit there and be like, what is
It's gone.
It's gone.
And that's the thing. You don't get to explore the environment.
It's how I feel about racing games.
Yeah.
Because you just zoom by it, and well, and obviously, even if I was playing a Battlefront single player campaign, I would still be blasting through stuff. You can't really take it at that pace, but the single player portion of that is a tutorial, and the tutorial takes about 40 or 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then everything's online. You can do couch co-op on it, but you're still playing. You're playing a mission, which is just win the battle.
Yeah,
there's no
and the waves of enemies, like you're always supposed to be doing something.
Yes.
And actually,
that's how Battlefront goes. But I'm just irritated that I don't have a reason to do it. It's just this is the battle you're doing. Why am I doing it?
Because the Empire's bad.
Yeah. I need a plot.
Speaking on Fallout, I came upon a scene. Like there's kind of this overlook of a dam and a bench and all this stuff, and there's just this couple sitting there. It's just a male skeleton, female skeleton dressed up.
I'm glad you said skeleton because I was wondering about.
Yeah, and they're just sitting there holding hands, like looking out over this thing, and it's that type of ambient story is something that I really appreciate, and I know that the developers have really put some time into it.
Yeah,
and that's. I'm old and everything, but that's
really
how
cool.
that's how I like to play games, and I really appreciate when they take the time to build a world like that. And they might have done that in Battlefront. We don't know, and we can't really know.
You can't,
and yeah,
that makes me wonder if that was when the bombs dropped. I mean, it could have been, but that means no one touched the skeletons in
for
hundreds of years. But
yeah.
At the same time, it could have been a couple who was just enjoying a nice little, nice view, and then the bombs just happened to drop at that time. Who knows? But it's cool because you don't have to get an answer for it.
No.
It's just that's there.
It's something. It's something that you encounter that allows you to take a moment.
Yeah.
With this world that's been created. Before we get off the subject of Battlefront, there's actually some really weird issues with launch. I only saw this on the PlayStation stream because there was PlayStation Help, Ask PlayStation, etc. Was talking about this, but apparently people that ordered the collector's edition paid $110 for the super special whatever.
Yep.
Those ones didn't launch. I'm like, okay, these are the most loyal people.
Yeah.
These are the ones that should be more taken care of. And there were people that bought this, and on their feeds it's popping up.
Yep.
Hey, we're playing Battlefield.
And they spent $110 and can't play it.
And didn't get you were able to refresh the licenses the following morning and play. But it's another example of EA launches going poorly. And I understand that you have this big property, but this is what they do.
Yeah.
They should be able to handle this by now, and this is not acceptable.
It reminds me of like the old Diablo 3 launch. Mm-hmm. Diablo 3 launch was very much like that, but it was everybody.
Yeah.
For 6 or 7 hours, maybe longer than that. That's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, to get
especially for people on the West Coast, because that launches at like 9 p.m. and you have a couple of hours to play, even if you're being a responsible adult.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's an interesting launch. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And more details have also come out about the DLC because they released some of that at launch. There's going to be 16 new maps. They haven't said anything about new planets yet, so we'll see what happens there.
I would assume there's at least 3 or 4 more. I mean, there have.
You'd hope.
Come on, yeah, there should be. The Star Wars universe is vast enough. The Star Wars lore is vast enough.
That you know where I want to see?
What's that?
Bespin. Right.
So you're just okay. So you'd have to do it. Yeah, I mean.
Especially if you get like one of the heroes up there with force push.
Yeah, push them off.
That just seems like fun. That's been one of my.
Bespin would be really cool.
Yeah, and then cool. Add with that the air battles and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So we'll see what happens with that.
I'd be okay with that.
There's also some news about a couple of launches and announcements made this week. Valkyria Chronicles. Mm-hmm. Is being remastered and launched for PS4, and then Valkyria Chronicles 4 is also coming to PS4. They haven't announced them for the USA, but they're coming.
Yeah,
Valkyria Chronicles is one of those. It's not like the Dragon Quest where we'll get it, however many years later. These ones come to the U.S.
Yes.
So check that out. Those are really interesting stories. The music is wonderful.
Yeah.
Which are RPGs. They just have good music.
Yes.
But
I'll admit I haven't played anything of the series. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but the fact that they're coming to PS4 is really cool. I'm glad.
There's not a whole lot of JRPG goodness on there.
Yeah, it needs more. It really does. More JRPG or light RPG.
Ni no Kuni 2. I want it.
So also White March Part 2, the Pillars of Eternity expansion, which I really like Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah.
It's a game that I need to jump in more. Pillars of Eternity is so much like I wanted Diablo 3 to be. Great development team there that continue to put out really good stuff. I actually started playing it back when it was in beta, and beta for free, and then continued to play it for free for a long time.
Right.
And it's the loot and the subtleties in the game are really cool, and I'm looking forward to this. I'll have to pick it up just to show support. Just to show support on that. It's coming to PC, obviously. I'd like to see this on console.
I haven't gotten to play it. Would it work on console? Because Baldur's Gate, the console ones, it was just too complicated. The whole control structure and everything.
I think it would work. I mean, Diablo was kind of made with the idea of simplifying it enough for console, but I think you could do it on. I think you could do it on console.
Okay.
Yeah, it could translate.
All right. And speaking of things coming to console, Darkest Dungeon is coming to PS4 and Vita in spring, and it's also coming out of its beta whatever phase, early access or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's coming out of, they're going to go ahead and have their official launch in January, and then it's coming to PS4 and Vita, which, yay Vita, because that seems like something that I could really dig into. And it looks so ridiculously macabre.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that.
It's gonna be fun, and I'm glad it's coming on Vita, because it's a console that needs more love, and Sony's all but put it to bed, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, but there's a lot of you don't get the AAA releases, but I would say that most of the independent releases that come out on PS4 are cross-buy and stuff because they know that we're buying them there. And I actually make a point, if it is cross-buy, I'll pull out my Vita and buy it there, and then have it transfer to the other one, because that lets them know, hey, this is where
we do it. Yeah,
this is where and why I'm buying this, because this is where I want to play it.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah.
Good point. It's kind of voting with your wallet without any money, but it's still your wallet.
It's not paying any additional money, but it was something that I was going to buy anyway.
Yeah.
It's letting them know, giving them the figures and pushing the data on, yes, Vita owners, we buy stuff.
Yes.
A lot of it.
Yes. So also, Deus Ex was delayed again.
By 6 months.
By 6 months for finishing touches. This game has the worst pre-launch that I've ever seen. With the debacle about the tiered pre-orders, everything from that to now it being delayed another 6 months. You don't delay a game for 6 months for polishing. There's something.
It's just a gap. I can see Square Enix being like, hey, spring is getting crowded.
Yeah.
Just crowded as hell.
Because Deus Ex would be the bottom of the list on that.
Yeah.
Deus Ex would be the one to push.
Their original release date is actually the same day as Far Cry Primal, which I'm getting. I'm going to buy the heck out of that, because that looks like so much fun. And I love me some Far Cry.
Is that full game?
Yes, it's going to be full price.
Full price.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was originally thinking it was going to be like a Blood Dragon type release, because it seemed like a thing. But if they're doing a full release of it, that's more interesting. I'm still on board.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how do you stretch that out for 30, 40 hours.
How do you do Far Cry without guns?
Yeah. How many times can you upgrade your makeshift, crude bow?
Well, maybe they're going to throw a Civilizations generation thing in there, and then you start you play the first half of the game as one generation, and then you pick up as their grandkid.
Yeah, you'd still be with crude bows and, I mean, slightly sharper sticks.
Yeah, but I mean, if you go
stone on it.
If you go that far back in history, you can muddle the timeline a bit.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Deus Ex being delayed to August is just,
it's hilarious.
Well, if you
I feel so bad for these guys. I feel so bad for the developers. They have a franchise they could be doing such great things with, but
Mankind Divided ended up getting it was delayed like at least 3 times.
Yeah.
But the product that we got at the end of it was a worthy reboot.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that. We'll see, but I don't think anybody really has faith in this franchise anymore.
One thing I have faith in, though, is Rocket League.
And the Apocalypse.
And
they're coming together.
The cast run for Rocket League is coming out. It's December, right? I didn't see the date on it.
Sure.
It's coming out in December-ish. You heard it here. I'm buying everything for these guys. They've given me so much content, so much time and fun and happiness in racing a car and playing soccer with a car. I'm gonna buy it just to show that, and it looks fun too.
One other cool thing that they're doing, and this is something that they've done with every expansion, every bit that they've put out, is they'll release. They'll be like, hey, here's some more content that you can buy, and they're releasing one arena for free.
Yes.
And that's a really cool thing, because it's like they're supporting people who bought the original game but don't want to pay more, and they're also giving a bit of a preview and be like, hey, if you like this arena.
Yeah, the reasoning that I think on that is that it's easier for them to give out the arena, and that way it continues to show it for everybody who's playing the game. To me, I think it looks generous, but I think on the back end it's actually easier for them, because then you have your random map generation, or you have your specific map arena that someone has picked, and then you're playing in that arena. You don't have to worry about, okay, we're going to display something else for these other people.
Yeah, you're not splitting the users.
Yeah. Which the way that Rocket League works, you could do that. You could easily just say, okay, well, we're just going to play this. Every time this arena shows up, then we're going to display this other arena if you don't have it. You could easily do that, or random.
But Rocket League really did expand by word of mouth.
Yeah.
And so for them to put out another arena for other people to say, hey, come play this arena with me.
Yeah.
I mean, that continues, because Rocket League continues to chart.
Yeah.
Like, it was released for free on Plus however many months ago, but like they keep on showing up on the PlayStation reports.
Yeah. People keep playing it because it's really fun.
And
it's fun, and I mentioned this before on the show, but you can jump into that game and play for a game. So it's supposed to be 5 minutes with the replays and everything. It ends up being about 6 and some change. So real quick, hey, let me jump in and play. Which, as gamers, we know that doing that means you're not going to play for 6.5 minutes. You're playing for half an hour or so.
Yeah.
But it's easy to justify to jump in and say, hey, I'm just going to play the short stint. And you're done. You can't do that with Fallout. You can't do that with World of Warcraft.
I've tried. Lord knows I've tried.
It does not work. It does not work. I don't have a segue for this, but in regards to short stints, I guess, the beta for Rainbow Six is coming out.
Yes.
There's your segue.
Yeah. The 25th to the 29th. So basically the weekend, the Thanksgiving weekend, Rainbow Six Siege is going to be an open beta, and that's going to be on console. I don't think it's on PC, but it's just going to be, hey, come in and try it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because it looks weird, and I like the idea of being able to like bust through walls and like change the environment while you're playing.
Cool. Yeah.
And I think that I'll go in, I'll shoot down some walls, somebody will be on the other side, they'll cap me in the head.
Probably.
And I'll be like, well, that was interesting.
That was fun.
But there are going to be people who check this out. And that's, for me, that shows their faith in the product. Because Battlefront didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime you're doing an open beta, you are saying, hey, I have faith in this product. It's good enough that I'm going to let anybody play it.
Especially considering this game launches in a week and a half.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it
comes out on December 6th.
Oh man.
So this is not.
Why are they open betaing?
They're saying it's a beta.
This is a
it's not a. Yeah.
This is a promotion. I didn't realize it was coming out that soon. I thought it was coming out into
so whatever feedback they get from this, they have no time to implement.
Yeah. This is all PR.
Yeah,
but that's cool. I'm okay.
Yeah,
with it.
it's PR that shows faith in their product.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain are both coming to PS4.
A lot, I absolutely love Heavy Rain.
Yes, and I'm going to pick that up. That's coming out March-ish, and Beyond Two Souls is coming out today or in the past. One of those two options whenever you see this. So if you want to grab that. It didn't review all that well. A lot of that was because of the disparity, and there's a bit of difficulty keeping up with the story because it jumps around in a timeline in an already confusing story about a girl who has a ghost following her around. But in the PS4 release, they're actually going to let you play it through chronologically.
I almost feel like that would ruin it. I mean, that's like watching Pulp Fiction in chronological order.
Have you ever done that though?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
No,
I didn't like it.
But
there's an edit you can find on YouTube and other places.
That's a better story though. Like Beyond Two Souls. I don't know. I'm not going to be picking up Beyond Two Souls. I will be grabbing Heavy Rain though because I've heard so much about it, and I've played the first hour or so, and it was really interesting.
You yelled Jason a lot.
I just didn't
brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get to do any of the fun stuff yet.
Yeah. So
there are some really cool choices that it makes. If anybody here is watching or listening knows, there's some really cool choices that it puts the player in. There are other games. Until Dawn did a similar bit to this. Both games you haven't played yet. Yeah. But a similar situation where you're put in a specific situation, a specific choice is given that as it depends on if you're playing it as the character or if you're playing it as you. So if you're playing it and trying to be true to who you think the character would be or what you would do in that situation versus the objective viewer of a or not really objective viewer of the person playing and going, well, this is probably better, I'll just do this, it's quick.
Yeah. And that's an interesting thing because like they allow you to get into that character by letting you kind of experience their everyday life.
Yep.
And I think that allows you to get a bit deeper into the character and feel more like you're playing the character rather than I am playing a character in a game.
Yes. Yeah.
So we'll see when that comes out, and I'm happy about this because we're not going to get to play with Kara for
not for a while,
3 years
not for a while.
Probably
something like that. But I'm still looking forward to Kara in a couple of years. So Fallout is getting, we should have put this at the beginning, excuse us being a little hodgepodge here, but Fallout is getting a patch next week, or this week, it's as you're watching this or listening this week.
Okay, so, and they've also detailed, like, how they're going to roll this out, because we knew that they were going to be, that the patches and everything was coming to PC first, and then to console.
Correct.
But now they've detailed there's going to be, like, a beta period for the patch, and then they're going to do a full release, and then it comes to console, and then profit.
Yep. Speaking of profit, and Fallout, if you are currently using a glitch in regards to the money, more than likely they're going to patch that in this. If they don't, I'll be surprised. So abuse it while you can, or don't because you're trying to be a good person. Depends on who you are. My character is not a good person. I am conning everybody out. But you
are a good person.
I am a good person. My character is not a good person.
I didn't do it. It was the character.
I'm conning everybody out of their caps. I'm taking all of their wares that they have for sale, then doing the cap sale. So I now have
right.
I'm 8 hours into the game, into my character, 8 or 9 hours into my character. I have 3 suits of armor.
Oh, of power armor.
Jeez. I have 3 suits of power armor. I have tons of materials, and I've got I want to say around almost 4,000 caps. because I haven't spent any caps.
Is good to be bad.
It's good to be bad. So I'm abusing it while I can because that's what my character would do. My other character is not doing that at all because she's nice. But yeah, that's going to roll out. I think that you're going to see a lot less glitching in regards to this. The big thing that's going on right now, which they're going to probably not, I'm guessing they're going to knock out in this, is the glitches in regards to clipping. There's a lot of issues that have been popping up and causing game-breaking issues in regards to clipping.
Where you were talking the quest people fall through.
Exactly.
Yep.
I haven't seen a quest giver do it yet, but we both had a similar situation with the Deathclaw, and I had one which was, I didn't even have to restart it. A specific person was following me on a mission, and he clipped in between in the door. And I opened the door, and he moved with the door. And then I toggled it a couple times, and then he was fine. But he was stuck in the door, and I'd move the door, and he would just slide along with the door. So, yeah, I think this is going to be one of the first things they're patching, because that's one of the things that's breaking the game more than anything else. Yeah. The ones that people are really complaining about are that. And if you knock that, hopefully they solidify that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a game that's going to improve the further we get along. Yeah. And so we'll see what's coming with this. The other thing about this is with the beta and PC, those of us playing on console get to be, we can verify that they're patching out the caps or whatever. Yeah. And so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. And then I think mods are probably going to be about the same. Is like they're gonna first test that on PC, and then they're going to be like,
which we're still waiting to see how it does on console for Xbox mods, because Xbox is going to get it first. Right. And right now, I don't have access to it. If comment if I'm wrong on there, because I haven't seen anything on there.
No, I think that's not going to be a piece of news we're able to miss, because Xbox is going to be so happy about that.
Well, it was supposed to happen when it launched. And
really?
It didn't, and it did not happen. It was supposed to be as soon as you can mod on PC, you can mod on Xbox. Eventually, PlayStation will get this.
Dang, I could have had a prediction, because there was no way in hell that was going to happen.
It's not, and the biggest reasoning isn't the architecture involved with modding. It is how do you load it, and how do you vet some of this stuff? Yeah, you can break the entire game.
That's the thing.
And console gamers, and I'm saying this as a person who plays more on console than PC. Console gamers are more. Are not as technically inclined as PC gamers. And the reason that I'm saying this, I'm not saying this as a slight. I'm just saying PC gamers are used to, I need to install this. I need to make sure the drivers are up to date. I need to make sure my hardware is right. They're used to running through a lot of things and that. And then in modding, you have to do even more than that.
Well, and there's also the added fact that that mods, like it'll be like, actively editing the INI files. Where are those on the console? We don't know.
I don't.
And that's the thing that's going to make it a lot more difficult. Is it's a whole new level, because as far as I know, mods have not been anywhere on any console.
Mods have never been. Not mods.
So this
legally.
Well, okay. I'll give you that. But like
officially,
this is a new thing that nobody's done yet, and I applaud Fallout and Xbox for being like, hey, this is a thing that we know PC players have and have used for quite some time.
And console gamers should have. Yeah. And they're giving it access, which is really cool. Another cool thing about giving access to Segue is the PlayStation 4 emulation of PS2.
Yes.
There's been a lot. It's awesome news, but there's been a lot of misinformation on this.
Yes, there
because
has.
I've read at least 2 headlines of pseudo-journalism where they're saying PS4 can now play PS2 games. Go for it. No, that didn't happen. No. Like, these people just saw
two PS2 games are now playable there, because they brought 2 of the Star Wars games from PS2 onto PS4 digitally. Yes.
Not physically. So these people were encouraging people, like basically saying as soon as the update rolls out, you'll be able to take your physical PS2 disc and throw it on your PS4 and you'll be happy. You won't be happy.
I bet they got a lot of traffic on those.
They probably got a lot of traffic.
And I hope that they got reprimanded, but the fact that they got trafficked, they might not get reprimanded. In this day and age in internet journalism, they probably didn't get reprimanded.
Yeah.
What's actually happening is the PS4 is capable of doing PS2 emulation on it, which means that they're able to roll out PS2 digital games like Star Wars, which is really cool. And I need to pick up. I don't know why I haven't.
Speaking of games journalism. Oh, and pick up Super Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what I was.
It's way harder. It's way harder than you remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of games journalism, this isn't on the notes, but on Kotaku, Kotaku's been blacklisted by Ubisoft and Bethesda both for like 2 years now. Usually, news sites don't comment on this stuff, and they're not willing to, because I mean, most of the time it's a temporary thing. But this has been going on long enough, and it's actually affected their ability to, because I mean, their Fallout review didn't come out for like a day or two after release.
Yeah.
But I applaud Kotaku because they're standing up and they're saying, "Hey, look, this is what's happening." They're being upfront, open, and saying, "This is what's happening. This is what's going on. We will do our best. Here's what we have."
Why were they being blacklisted? I didn't see the.
They actually leaked Fallout 4 in December of last year. They did actually take out some of the like story details, but they were like, "Hey, Fallout 4, it's coming," and companies want to release things in their own time, in their own way. We knew Fallout 4 was coming. We just didn't. This was basically confirmation that it existed.
Yeah, like I know they're working on an Elder Scrolls game. It's not. That's not because they've said anything. It's because if they're not, they're a bunch of morons who don't know how to make money.
Yeah, but Bethesda knows how to make money,
which means that they've been working on that since probably right after Skyrim, if not during Skyrim, to say how do we do the follow up to this. Yeah. Bethesda's smart enough to do that.
Yeah, and then Ubisoft they leaked the news about Victory, how Rogue and Unity were going to come out last year. That they were going to have a last gen and a current gen.
That's right.
Release.
Gotcha.
And so those two companies have said, "Look, we don't really want to talk to you about stuff," and so they're getting shut out from a lot of things. But for me,
that's a lot for 2 years. That's a lot.
For me, this kind of verifies. Like I know that there are people who are like, "Oh yeah, video game reviews are paid for." Okay. Kotaku isn't. No. Clearly, they are not. I mean, I that's kind of a bullshit theory anyway.
It really is.
Apologies, but no, that's not how this works. But Kotaku is going out and going above and beyond to find these stories and look for this kind of stuff, and then they're turning around and saying, "Hey, look, this is the reality of what we're dealing with."
Yeah.
Props to them, and they will continue to get my traffic. So, check that story out. Go look up Kotaku Price of Games Journalism.
Yeah. What was Push Me Pull You? What is that?
Oh, okay. So, PlayStation Experience is in 2 weeks. Jeez. So, PlayStation Experience is in 2 weeks, and I'm really looking forward to that. But they've already started to roll out kind of the releases and say, hey, these are some of the games that are coming out. Push Me Pull You, you're controlling two sides of like this elastic creature.
Okay.
And trying to play like a sumo game. It looks weird as hell. But for those of you who play like Sports Friends or Nidhogg, or like they've come out with some really, really weird stuff on PlayStation. They're just like, hey, here's a thing.
There's a weird thing, yeah.
But like in this, theoretically, you could have a 4-person game where, two of us are holding a controller. I'm controlling one side of the creature. You're controlling the other side. And it just sounds like so much fun. I'll be buying this. This looks so ridiculous, and I want to play it.
That sounds crazy.
And yeah, that's one of the things that I really like. This will be the second year that they're doing a PlayStation Experience special thing. But this allows them to highlight stuff that's just weird as hell.
Yeah, that you couldn't roll into EA with.
No.
EA would they just go? Oh.
You can do Unravel because that's really cute and that is an indie thing that just looks really, really special. This just looks weird.
Yeah,
and weird is exciting.
Yeah.
So Push Me Pull You, and they've also released like a detective something, but they've started to roll out the trailers. So go check that out and see if that's something that you're interested in. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll find out more news and more trailers, and
we'll of course give you all the details on that.
Yes.
Also, like we do. Speaking of that, Afterbirth, the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth game that's coming out.
Yeah, the expansion.
The expansion is
not coming to Vita. Not coming to Vita, 3DS, and Wii U.
Wii U, I can see. I love my Wii U, but it's pretty much dead, and it is coasting along, and until NX, and it's very sad to me because it's great. It's a great console.
They also the overview is that they said that Afterbirth, there's just too much processing going on in the background. They're giving us like another 50% of items, and it's just too complex for these systems to run. So it's coming to PS4. It will continue to go. And for those of you following my trophies, I got the Lost. I'm like 3/4 of the way through the trophies on that game.
You're a masochist.
No, but if I could get that platinum,
that'd be amazing. You'd be one of the few that got that.
But yeah, so I play that on Vita. I play that more than probably everything else combined on Vita. I understand if it can't run, it can't run. Yeah. And okay.
Yeah.
But
you wouldn't want, especially that game, you wouldn't want that game to run poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's disappointing.
Yeah. But there was also an interesting statement when they were talking about this, and all of our news from that company basically comes from Twitter interactions of people asking them. And also, if you want another fun story, look up the Afterbirth release, because some of the previous secrets had been data mined instead of actually found in game.
Okay.
And Macmillan was like, but I made this super special thing. I wanted the community to come together to make this happen. So with the Afterbirth expansion, he included real life locations, and people had to physically dig on their property to find the last secret, at which point the update went live and unlocked things. And I'm like, oh my. And it's
so obsessive, which is so much what their fandom
absolutely does, it is literally insane because and like one of the last tweets he sent out was like, okay, you're getting very close, please remember, don't do anything illegal. I will not be responsible if you think you have an idea and you go so that was a really fun story. And I'll try to play it on PS4, and that actually means that Binding of Isaac my series will be reborn, because I have to play that on PS4, and if I'm playing it on PS4, I'm going to be streaming it, because I want you to be with me when I'm yelling at the screen and cursing Macmillan for being born. But I'll keep playing that game, and I'll keep pursuing trophies and see what happens.
You are a sick man.
Yep.
But what else is sick to me is that Nintendo thought that they could release Mario Tennis for full price, and that would be okay. Nintendo doesn't understand the business world when it comes to games anymore.
Yeah.
And that's really sad, because Nintendo puts out great product. If this game was a $20 game, then it wouldn't be a big deal.
It's a $20 game. They're just charging.
Exactly. It's a $20 game that they're charging $50. This is... I've heard someone jokingly compared this to the Mario and Sonic Olympics stuff, and saying this is like you're being charged $60 for one of the events of the game, and one of 10 or 8 or 10.
Yeah, because like
That's how it feels to them.
Wii Sports Tennis was fun. You just sit there and wave it back and forth and all that stuff. But
there were other games in there.
Yeah, but they threw a couple of they threw iconic characters at it and whatever, and they put a mushroom in it to make you giant.
Yeah,
like there's not enough game here.
Yeah.
To make it worth this kind of money, and like as I keep saying, Nintendo, I love you. Stop.
Yeah.
This is not how this works, and there's not enough there. You can release products at a lower price rate. That's okay, and nobody's going to hate you for it.
Yeah.
But when you have a full price game and there's not really anything there, come on.
Yeah.
So
it
that
doesn't have the replayability of Smash Brothers.
No.
So and I think that's what they thought. They were like, okay, this will be another game that people will play in groups and parties.
Okay.
But that's not.
But yeah. So yeah, they still have a massive war chest of money. They have a massive war chest of goodwill.
Yep.
But their business decisions are just not acceptable.
Yeah, they're losing consumer trust, and it's really sad. This is the company that saved video games and redefined video games, and they are the ones who are just floundering right now and losing all the trust.
Yeah, and like honestly, right now they're between a rock and a hard place. You can coast through that. Yeah. Just wait. We know that NX is coming. We're looking forward to it. Don't squander the goodwill that you have in the meantime trying to bounce between objectives.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's really what they're doing. But on to another topic, though. From Software is going to start making other games because they don't want to continue to milk the Dark Souls and Bloodborne bit, which I am glad. I'm very glad, because I didn't want those types of games to turn into the Assassin's Creed yearly release.
We had Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3 in 3 years.
Yes,
that's too much. If that got annualized, that's
too much.
Because I just beat Bloodborne and I can't.
And the only reason they had that is that Dark Souls 2 wasn't done by Miyazaki. Yeah. So Miyazaki didn't do Dark Souls 2, so he had time to be working on Bloodborne, which apparently he was also working on Dark Souls 3 at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I'm still curious how that's going to happen, because you have someone who is directing both of those, and I don't know. I'm really hopeful on. Hopefully, it was separate enough that he could, he was able to give his all on both. But that's a lot.
Yeah, and it's very much like a Ken Levine situation. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the guy.
Yeah.
This guy is the one who he's the one that he did Demon Souls, he did Dark Souls 1, and the whole intertwining of levels and the way that they fit together to create a cohesive world is something that was notably absent from Dark Souls 2 specifically. Yeah. Specifically the going up in an elevator to a field of lava. It's just one of those. It's just one of those weird things, and you didn't have the moments where you open a gate and you're like, oh my god, I'm back at the beginning of the game 30 hours in.
Yeah.
That gate, I remember this gate. And because
that happened in Bloodborne.
Clinic.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful moment, because that was a gate that I thought about for the first 5 hours of the game, forgot about, and then I come back and I'm, climbing up this ladder, get up to the top, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yep.
And those moments.
Yeah.
Like he does well with storytelling and the ambient and whatever, but like the level design.
Yeah, the level design, which makes the world seem real. It doesn't seem arbitrary, just an arbitrary, random dungeon. Which obviously
you've entered a new zone.
Yeah, it fits like a puzzle. It fits like the world should fit, and it's so dense. So I'm
glad my world doesn't fit together that way, though.
It'd be weird.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it really works for those type of games. What do you think they're gonna do if they do other games other than Souls?
They actually have a fairly interesting catalog. They actually did the Tenchu games. back in the day, right? Because we haven't seen a Tenchu game since PS2.
Yeah.
So and Armored Core was something that they did.
Armored Core could be good.
Yeah,
if you do it the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like they have these, and I'm sure that in the last 3 years he's had other ideas.
Yeah.
He/they, because
Sure.
I put a lot of credit to Miyazaki-san, but he is not the only thing that makes this. He cannot individually make this game. He has built a team. He has created a culture in that studio of really, really remarkable things. And so I love the Soulsborne games. I really want to see Demon Souls 2 someday.
Yeah.
But I'm also confident in that studio moving forward. See what they can do. See where they can go.
Yeah, I trust them. Unlike Nintendo, I trust them. So put in the comments what you think you would like to see them tackle next. Do you want to see Tenchu? Like, I want to see Tenchu like open world, semi-open world. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool stuff. Just tell us in the comments.
Indeed,
we did get some viewer mail though.
Yes. We have a tweet from Word.
Yeah.
Who says...
We know Word.
All right, so he says, potential topic. I find myself playing games that are story-driven versus gameplay, i.e. Life is Strange and Tales games. Am I getting old?
Yes.
Yeah. And
you're
last
old.
Question, yes, you're getting old.
I think this is something that... you missed the conversation about just a little earlier today. This is being recorded on Saturday. That actually Chris and I were having on this. The time that we have as working adults and playing video games, and as a grown up, you have to look at, okay, I don't have 40 or 60 hours this week to put into a game.
Yeah.
And it'd be great if we did, but people have jobs and obligations, and I think that the reason that you as well as I and other people are driven towards story-based games is because that's why I play games. I like the interaction portion of video games. I like gameplay. That is important to me. But I gravitate towards a game because I want a compelling story, something that hooks me. Sometimes game mechanics can be, oh, that's really cool. If it doesn't have a story, though, then I'm just being driven along, and I'm just grinding for no reason. I did that earlier this year, and you did too with Summoner's War on mobile. And it hooks you at first.
And then at some point you ask, okay, why am I actually doing this?
Why? Why am I'm continuing to jump back, and they give you the carrot on the stick to say, well, you have to, if you come in and do these things daily, then you get this reward. But it doesn't have the reward that we need. the reward of feeling not only justified in your time and what you've in that, but also a reward of feeling accomplished and either revealing a story or finishing or even just unraveling a secret in a game, whatever it is that depending on your game. That's my view on it. I think it's a time management bit.
Well, another aspect of that is over the last 2 years, and especially this has been a trend in video games, but like everything's open world now, and so like I look at Metal Gear Solid 5. I love the Metal Gear Solid series.
Yeah.
I still haven't played 5
because
I look at that and I'm like, 80 hours. I don't know if I can sink that kind of time because I think my Bloodborne time was probably less than 100 hours, but that took me from release date all the way up until October.
Yeah.
And so I like the idea of experiencing different games. And so when I take something like Life is Strange or Until Dawn or something that I know will be encapsulated in fewer than 15 hours.
Yeah.
I can be like, okay, all right, I can do that. That this can be a portion of my time for the next month.
Yeah.
and I can stretch that out, intersperse that with other games, and just see where that takes me. And at the end of that, I will be done. I will have finished the game, and I like finishing games. I have a list on my phone of games I have finished.
I have a problem where I don't finish games. So
yeah, and if you have either one of those problems, a shorter story-driven game, because a story-driven game will most of the time be shorter than something where like Shadow of Mordor or Fallout or whatever. Like these are not really story-driven games. A full open world is a place to go in and get lost.
Yeah, and Fallout has a story. It has a pretty cool story to it, and there are so many little tiny stories. And the reason that we're not including that in there, though, is because Fallout's story is just there to... The main story arc is there to hook you in and give you a couple reasons to be there. The whole point of Fallout is everything in that world, and all the little tiny stories and all the little tiny encounters.
Well, see,
not the overall arc like Until Dawn. There's it's very well done. It's a prologue, beginning, middle, end, perfect. You can't do that in 100 hours. It doesn't work.
Well, and there's also Fallout has I have a friend that's I think he said he's played like 40 something hours, hasn't been to Diamond City yet. He's doing the settlement thing and creating his, like, we get to create our own worlds, and like there's so many different ways to play that game. And I actually posted the Control Alt Delete comic this last week on the Triage page, which is like, okay, I log in and I'm like, all right, that quest I saw last time, I'm going to do that quest. And I get halfway there, and I'm like, ooh, shiny thing.
Yep.
And I wander off this way. And then I get back to the quest beginning, and I'm like, I don't have time to do this.
I don't have time to do this anymore. Yeah.
And so, like, the way that we play games has changed, and our options as far as games has also changed.
Yeah.
So, because, like, I mean, you can beat Super Mario Brothers in, like 5 minutes according to the internet.
Sure.
But there's something to be said for a game that you can sit down and you can feel progress. I don't feel progress in Fallout 4 because I'm not really making progress.
No.
I'm opening new quest lines. I'm keeping my settlers above 50% happy.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff. And it is nice to feel that I have done something. Bloodborne, I was able to put that many hours into it because even if I made it past one new section, I know that I have gotten better at Bloodborne in that time. Even if I don't make progress in the game, I'm better.
You're chipping closer and closer to your final goal, and you can really visualize. You can really see that in Bloodborne. You can't see that in Fallout because Bethesda games don't have that. And I think I probably mentioned on this podcast, and I mentioned this to you before, my wife Whitney played Skyrim and beat Skyrim and didn't know she was done with Skyrim. So she didn't even know she was on the last quest, and she didn't know when she finished the last quest that it was over, and everyone was just kind of standing there looking at her, because you could play that, you could beat it in 10 or 12 hours. I think she beat it in the first week. And just the way that they pace everything, you could be done in that time. You could be done in a couple hundred hours.
Yeah. Or not done in a couple hundred hours.
And it's hard to create that culmination of everything that you've done when in a game when you haven't done much, or when you've done so much. How do you handle that disparity?
Well, there's not a sense of urgency. Like, spoilers for the first 10 minutes of Fallout 4. You are supposed to be looking for your baby.
Yes.
Who might not be a baby anymore. I don't know.
I have my hunches.
Because you went back to sleep.
Yep. I have my hunch.
That's not a baby.
Sorry.
Anyway, but like you have that going on.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yeah.
This is not a priority. And so
Same thing with someone asked me to I'm not going to spoil this part, but someone asked me to join a specific group in the game, and they said, hey, you should become one of us. And I said, I don't know. And they said, oh, we know it. I know that's it's not an easy decision, so just let me know when. And that
You're talking about the laser guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that just gave it away for anybody who plays Fallout now.
Yeah.
Who we're talking? What group I'm talking about?
Yeah. If you've gotten 4 hours in, but you haven't gotten 6 hours in.
If you played any Fallout games, you know what faction that would be. So.
Okay. No, I wasn't talking about
laser guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. He's got a laser.
I don't think you can really choose that. Okay, so I spoiled
I chose to ignore it.
I spoiled it. I thought you were talking about the Brotherhood of Steel.
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to them. They are jerks.
Yep.
I don't like them at all.
Yep. He said, "You want to join?" And I said, "I don't know."
See, I didn't even get that far because he has too many questions, and I was like, "Why do you want to know this stuff?" And he's like, "If you're not going to answer my questions without me giving you any information, I don't want to talk to you." And I was like, "Okay, peace out."
I did it because someone there is probably it may be patched by the time we get to this, but there's an exploit. If you're, I guess you could probably do this if you're. I don't know if you can do this with your neutral with them, but there is a specific guard for Brotherhood of Steel that if you sneak up behind him, you can take out the power core from his armor, his fusion core.
Really?
And he gets out of the armor, and then he gets back in it. When he gets back in, he's got another fusion core. You can take that fusion core, and he gets out of the armor, and then he gets back into the armor. You can keep doing that. The fusion cores are really rare in the game. Mm-hmm. That's what runs your armor.
And finite, too.
Yes. Not.
Except.
Yeah. No. The NPCs that sell you stuff, there are NPCs that restock them. I know because I have 8 that I got off of one specific guy in Diamond City. So that exploit is like, okay, well, I'll see if I can hit that. I have not joined him, but I wanted to see at least, okay, if I did that one mission, maybe they'll let me in because he might become Brotherhood. I don't know. We'll see if that works. But that's our take on story versus gameplay driven. I think that's why I don't play as many, or I don't enjoy as many games that are really heavy in gameplay and have a light story nowadays. The only ones that I can't is through nostalgia. I like a story. I like something. I like a reason to do what I'm doing.
I like a game that says, hey, you can probably go through this in a relatively short amount of time, like Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
There's a pretty decent story in Shovel Knight, but you don't know that until you get to the end.
Yeah.
So, spoilers that there's a good story.
Spoilers that there's a story. I really like Shovel Knight. It's another game that I was really glad to.
That was one where gameplay was the key to everything. That was what drew me in. But it was also an easily encapsulated experience that I could just look at and be like, hey, I can take on that one in a week.
Same.
Took me 2 days, but anyway.
A level took you? A specific level?
I beat the game in 2 days.
Oh, the game. Okay, I thought you meant the level. I was like, what are you talking about, dude?
No. I paid for it in sleep deprivation because I was driving. I was probably not safe, but I survived.
You did survive. Proof. Yeah.
But not necessarily storied games, but games that I know I can take on. Far Cry. It's an open world game, but I knew I could get through it in 15 to 20 hours. And so that was something that I was more willing to jump into.
You can get through Fallout in 15 to 20 hours.
I'm not gonna.
No. You shouldn't.
No.
You shouldn't. Far Cry you can do that with, though.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think on story versus gameplay driven games? Do you prefer the story? Do you have to have really good gameplay and don't care about story? Let us know, because I'm guessing that you bought Battlefront and that you're fine with it. Let us know, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
I'm not ready.